In the name of His Holiness Kanana Maharaj and myself, I would like to welcome you to this joint Bhagavatam class. We will be speaking on a text from the Bhagavatam about Kirtan, and then talk a little bit about, expand the meaning a little bit. So we will be each taking half an hour. We will be together in this format until 9 o'clock. And yeah, try to serve you during this, your last concluding day of the Kirtan Mela. Yeah. I believe that we remain focused as we are throughout the last 2 days. You are all very focused. It's a very nice Krishna conscious atmosphere. I believe today all of us will collect our gifts. I like to say it like this, that the Lord has a treasure house, and Haridas Thakur says, from all the treasures which are sitting there, there's one particular treasure which is described to be the first and foremost treasure, the most important one. What could that treasure be? Imagine God has a treasure house. It's certainly not gold and silver. Could it be maybe a nice balanced position in this world? Or do you think maybe Prema Bhakti is his first and foremost treasure? Or is maybe the permission to stay in the holy Dham the first and foremost treasure in the Lord's treasure house? What could the best treasure of Krishna be? Haridas Thakur answers this somewhat difficult question by saying it is the holy name. And the reason he gives for this being the best treasure of Krishna's treasure house is that we are here in this world and we are surrounded by things which are foreign to our nature. The material world is dull and inert, it is made of material energy, whereas we are made of an entirely different substance than everything we find around us. We are made of the spiritual energy. So, Haridas Thakur says in this world there are only two spiritual entities. Entities in Deutsch, we would say them very nice word, Wesenheit. Two spiritual beings, and that is you. You are spirit, yes, you are special, that you are different from the world which surrounds you. And the second spiritual entity is Krishna's holy name. So when the two come together, when the holy name comes together to the spiritual soul, when the spiritual soul finds this treasure, by the amazing power of the holy name, he is purified from sins, that means bad karma, and he is given Krishna consciousness. He's given that consciousness of Krishna. The consciousness is again pervaded with Krishna. So this Kirtan Mela, we are trying to connect as spiritual souls, raising our voice to chant Krishna's name and make that sambandha, that relationship work. And I think from watching you and hearing what some of you have said, either to me personally or to other devotees, you have a very wonderful result. Yesterday, from the Kirtan, I was not there in the very end. I was seeing devotees who needed to see me. And then I heard a voice all of a sudden. It started in the green door of the guest house, and it came up through the staircase, and it remained before my door for some time. Then it went into number 4. Number 4 is the room of His Holiness Kadamba Kanana. And I was intrigued at this singing, and I saw him singing in his room, and then he came out of the room. He sang in the hallway, and I could see that our Maharaj has gotten a great treasure, the holy name. His eyes were full of flashes. I hope you're not embarrassed, but I noticed good result. Alright, so here is our verse for today. Third canto, chapter 33, text 7. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. It is also a well-known verse, and I will therefore sing it line by line. Aho batasva pachoto gariyan. Aho batasva pachoto gariyan. Yajjiva greva tate namatubhyam. Yajjiva greva tate namatubhyam. Te pustapaste juhu Shashnaya. Te pustapaste juhu Shashnaya. Brahmanuchunamagrinanti yete. Brahmanuchunamagrinanti yete. Yes, please, someone else.
Aho batasva pachato gariyan.
Aho batasva pachato gariyan.
Yajjiva greva tate namatubhyam.
Yajjiva greva tate namatubhyam.
Te pustapaste juhu sasnuraya.
Te pustapaste juhu sasnuraya.
Ramanuchuramaginanti yete.
Ramanuchuramaginanti yete.
Aho bata.
Aho bata.
Because we have little time, therefore we are a little fast today. Oh, how glorious!
Oh, how glorious!
Svapacha. Dog eater.
Dog eater.
Hence.
Gariyan.
Worshipable.
Yeah.
Of whom?
Ivagre.
On the tip of the tongue. Vatate. Is. Nama. The holy name. Tubhyam. Unto you. Te putapaha. Practiced austerities. They. You. Executed fire sacrifices. Took bath in the sacred rivers. Ayans. Brahma Anuchu. Studied the Vedas. Nama. The holy name. Vinanti. Except. Yea. They who. Te. Your. Translation. Oh, Aho means, in our modern language, where the American slang has pervaded our our linguistic skills, we will say, wow! Oh, how glorious are they whose tongues are chanting your holy name. Even if they are born in the family of dog eaters, such persons are worshipable. Worship them, give puja to them. Persons who chant the holy name of your Lordship must have executed all kinds of austerities and fire sacrifices and achieved all the good manners of the Aryans. Aryans are very elevated human beings, almost like walking angels on earth. To be chanting the holy name of your Lordship. These chanters must have bathed at holy places, pilgrimage, studied the Vedas, and fulfilled everything required. Purport. As it is stated in the previous verse, a person who has once offenselessly chanted the holy name of God immediately becomes eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices. I will highlight this a little bit. The performance of Vedic sacrifices requires the knowledge of Vedic scriptures and the purity of heart, which is found only amongst the Brahmanas, but who are really exalted Brahmanas, who really have a very high level of Vedic knowledge and also realization. We hear that they were so powerful at the time that they would ignite fire just by pronouncing mantras, and by their well wishes wonders could happen. So only these highly exalted beings could perform Vedic sacrifices. But here it says, if you have chanted once without offenses the holy name, you are on that level. So Prabhupada says one should not be astonished by this statement of Srimad Bhagavatam. One should not disbelieve or think, how? By chanting the holy name of the Lord, can one become a holy man to be compared to the most elevated Brahmana? How is this? No, this doubt shouldn't be there. To eradicate such doubts in the minds of unbelievers, this verse affirms that the stage of chanting of the holy name of the Lord is not sudden, but that the chanters have already performed all kinds of Vedic rituals and sacrifices. It is not very astounding, for no one in this life can chant the holy name of the Lord unless he has passed all lower stages, such as performing the Vedic ritualistic sacrifices, studying the Vedas, and practicing good behavior like that of the Aryans. All this must first have been done. Just as the student in a law class is to be understood to have already graduated from general education, anyone who is engaged in the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare, must have already passed all lower stages. It is said that those who simply chant the holy name with the tip of the tongue are glorious. One does not even have to chant the holy name and understand the whole procedure, namely the offensive stage, the offenseless stage, and pure stage. If the holy name is sounded on the tip of the tongue, that is also sufficient. It is said here that Nama, a singular name, one name, Krishna, or Rama, is sufficient. It is not that one has to chant all the holy names of the Lord. The holy names of the Lord are innumerable, and one does not have to chant all the names to prove that he has already undergone all the processes of any ritualistic ceremonies. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Tashakyati Shakarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. During this Kirtan Mela, we want to achieve a meal. The word Mela comes from the Sanskrit root meal. Meal means not a meal like breakfast meal. So meal, M-I-L, means to meet. In the Kirtan Mela, the devotees want to meet Krishna in the most merciful form of the holy name, and also they want to meet each other as worshippers of Krishna. This is the idea of the Mela, a meeting between the individual soul and God, and the meeting of the lovers of God, or the worshippers of God, the chanters, amongst themselves. That's the idea of Mela, meeting, a festival, a great gathering, a great meeting that takes place. So in this meeting, something happens which is very, very special. When Kirtan is done, then it is Rupa Goswami said, you need to know how to do Kirtan. Kirtan is defined as loudly giving voice to the glories of the Lord, beginning with the names. So therefore sometimes the Kirtaniers will say, chant a little bit louder, because Kirtan is this activity where you give voice, you very loudly, from the depths of your heart, you glorify the Lord. This is the idea of Kirtan. The idea of Kirtan is not just to sing, it is to glorify the Lord loudly. The Lord is to be glorified because He is so beautiful, He has so much Shakti, so much energies. Yes, He performs extraordinary pastimes, which only the Lord does, no one else. And in this way, Jiva Goswami says why we should glorify Him. There's something to glorify. It's not vainglories. Like when we meet a human being and we say, "Oh, today you look so beautiful." It is really an overstatement, because it is not deeply beautiful. It is, if you only skin deep, behind the skin, oh, not so beautiful. But when you see Krishna, you say, "Oh, Krishna is so beautiful." Everything of him. When you go through him, it is beautiful. Even his saliva is beautiful, because it goes in the prasadam and it makes it spiritual and very, very, very worshipable by the best of human beings. Krishna is beautiful throughout. His body is Satchit Ananda. It is out of bliss and full of knowledge and full of eternity. Very, very, very extraordinary. He is to be glorified. Now, if you glorify the Lord like this, you have contact with the Lord, and in the contact of the Lord, something, a transformation happens, which this verse of the Bhagavatam talks about. This verse of the Bhagavatam talks about low-class people born in the family of dog eaters. I don't know if you can imagine, if you eat 25 years dog flesh, your cells are very doggishly informed. Your brain is most probably, you are what you eat, and you have a little, your facial features. You can see it in Germany, people who keep shepherds and other dogs, and as they grow older, their faces transform and look a little bit the way their darlings look. You can see there are professional studies of this, how in the association of anything, it does not just mean dogs, or also husband and wife, if they stay together for so long, they begin to look alike and have similar manners. There are psychological studies like this. So imagine a dog eater. He's surrounded with dogs. He even eats them, and so on. He doesn't vibrate on a high level. You can visit such places where this is done in India. There are areas in Delhi where you can go, and I encourage you, but don't go after when the sun is down. You can see it is something to be seen. But here it is said that by chanting the names, a transformation takes place, a very amazing transformation, which is addressed by H.H.Sacinandana Swami. H.H.Sacinandana Swami talks about, gives the verse, he says, those who chant, they become actually advanced and they achieve very high levels of spiritual transformation. Evam ratasva priyanama kirtyanam, from Kirtan. Yadhanurago druta chitta uchaya. Chitta means the consciousness changes. Something comes in the consciousness, which we saw yesterday with our Maharaj. He had left the Kirtan, most probably he had sung all the way, and he was very blissful when he entered the guest house and chanted. It is the chitta, the deep, deep place of the consciousness which we want to transform, has been reached by the holy name. And I know this is not an isolated case. Many of you experience this. So H.H.Sacinandana Swami says, this goal of all spiritual life, that the chitta is transformed, and that there's really a transformation from Heinz Meyer to Hansa Dutta. This very, very deep transformation is the goal of spiritual life. And H.H.Sacinandana Swami puts a doubt before this. How is it possible? He says, one could argue that this very high state, that the consciousness gets, the chitta means the core of the consciousness. C.G. Jung would say the subconscious mind, but it's more than even that. The chitta is transformed. This is rarely attained, one could say, by even those who have attained perfection in yoga, even after many lifetimes of practice. So how can this stage be reached in one birth merely by singing the names of the Lord? Do you find this doubt a good doubt?
Yeah.
Oh, you're sleeping. So you can't find anything. This is a very good doubt. It is a very reasonable doubt. It's a doubt which we should also apply to ourselves. How much have you changed? Are you still Heinz Meyer? Inside? I know outside you have a shaved head and a tila. We are talking now of the chitta, the deep consciousness. Is that really changed? So this doubt is raised by H.H.Sacinandana Swami. I think it is a doubt which all of us had at times, and those who analyze the success stories in the Hare Krishna movement have also this doubt. So H.H.Sacinandana Swami gives a very, very interesting solution to this doubt. He says that this is a gradual attainment for someone who takes shelter of the Lord. He gives an example from eating. When you eat, when you have a plate of prasadam before you, you are really very fortunate. This means the end of your hunger story has arrived. But this result will come gradually, bite by bite, as you eat. You have to continue eating. Otherwise, you will still be hungry. So he gives this, he says, those who chant continuously in this life by taking shelter of the required of the Lord, they will make this experience. He gives this verse, which some of you know, Bhakti Parishanu Bhavo Viraktir, etc. Devotion, direct experience of the Lord, and detachment from other things. These three occur simultaneously for one who has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the same way that pleasure, nourishment, and relief from hunger come simultaneously and increasingly with each bite for a person engaged in eating. So when you eat, you're hungry and you're mental and you're, are you sometimes hungry?
Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, you are sleeping. We are talking now something important for you. Please stay with us. Switch on. Are you sometimes hungry, Prabhu?
Yes.
Good. So that hunger will go gradually, bite by bite, as you eat the meal. So we are spiritually hungry, and as we chant the holy names, the spiritual hunger will slowly go. That is, we will have some devotion, we will have some direct experience of the Lord, and we will have detachment. there was one devotee here who was chanting, praying to Radha Madan Mohan for shelter, and he was chanting. All of a sudden, he told me, he saw how, he said, give me a sign that you accept me. I feel not accepted by you. So he saw how the hands of Madan Mohan opened, and how the fruit of Madan Mohan fell out of the hands on the ground. And this was what other devotees also see. They saw all of a sudden how the fruit just bang, came on the ground. They may not have seen how the hands opened, but this one devotee, Madan Mohan, chose to give him a sign like this, the sign, yes, I care for you, you wanted the sign, so. So this is an experience for that devotee. Other devotees have, the Lord gives them other experiences. Maybe the heart softens, maybe all of a sudden they feel they want to sing more, they sing outside of the Kirtan when they leave the Kirtan hall, and so on. Some direct experience comes. And then detachment from other things. And these come if you take shelter of the Lord. Krishna. And you are then having this wonderful experience. This is Srila Swami saying, but you need to keep on eating, keep on chanting, never stop, never stop. Never stop even when you leave the Kirtan hall, never stop in your life. When you meet devotees, chant with them or talk about Krishna with them. And as you continue to eat, best is throughout your life, you will feel these results coming to you. Still, this verse says, even one holy name is so glorious. How is this to be understood? The idea is when you start to meet the holy name, mostly you do it when you meet the sadhus, the devotees of the Lord. This is explained in the Bhagavatam. Your spiritual life has started. Your Puna Janma, that is the repeated birth and death, is now stopped. At the time when a conditioned soul meets devotees and receives the holy name, at that time his samsara, his cycle of repeated birth and death, is stopped. And therefore he is elevated on a level which the Aryans have. It is considered that you have taken all your bath in the holy places, committed fire sacrifices, and what else? You have executed all kinds of austerities. And so on. Yes, because now you have achieved something which not even the highest qualified beings have achieved. You have received your guarantee that you can go back to God. But don't stop chanting. Just like a hungry man needs to continue to eat in order to have these wonderful experiences of eating. This is Srila Swami's perspective on this. You also have to chant. So, I punctually, it's 8:30 now. We will now request Kadamba Kanana Maharaj. I think it is good if you come here, Maharaj, because of the cameras and everything.
Cameras, eh? Yantimanasya Yanna Salakaya Shakshu Nitamina Tasmai Sidurayana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The Uttama Adhikari is seeing how there is not one living entity who is deprived from the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Every living being is in the hands of Krishna. And Krishna makes arrangements for every single living entity, knowing exactly the predicament of that living entity. Krishna somehow or other makes some arrangement for that living being to make advancement. Whether it is a crumb of prasadam for an end, or whether it is the Bhagavad Gita in the hands of a human being, it is all the arrangement of the Supreme Lord. Whether it is chastisement, whether it is being limited, Purna Musika Bhav, whether it is being turned into a mouse again after one has been a tiger. Whatever it is, the Supreme Lord makes arrangements for our purification. Then, that Lord who sends mercy in so many forms, only to most fortunate souls will send His pure and spotless mercy in the form of His holy name, which is Krishna Himself, or in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is known as the literary incarnation of Krishna. So in that way, when one receives that mercy, then the quality of that mercy has now reached the stage of perfection. Why Krishna gives such mercy? That is ultimately causeless, because even when we have done all kinds of pious activity, it's not enough. It's not enough to earn such a gift. Whatever we may have done, whether we have prayed in previous lives on our knees as good Christians, or bowed down 5 times a day as good Muslims doing our namaz, or whether we were yogis with long beards, or whatever we were, right? Whatever we did, all those austerities, all the dedication, it was not enough to receive this mercy. Why we have received? Causeless. Nothing we have done has warranted it. The other day, at the beginning of this Kirtan Mela, Sacinandana Maharaj also asked me to speak unexpectedly, and he sort of on the spot said, and now Kadamba Kanana Maharaj will also say something. And then there was nothing in my mind. Sometimes there's really nothing. I don't know if you have that also, these moments that there's absolutely nothing. So there was nothing. So anyway, don't worry about it. Something will come. But what it was, I had no idea. I sat down and still nothing. Nothing. Until I started to speak, only then something came. And what came was that Srimad Bhagavatam is the purport to the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And I addressed that very short, because it was only like a warm-up for the Kirtan Mela. and part of the Adivas. So, whereas that is actually a big topic, and one could easily make it into a one-week seminar by proving it with various verses and leading up to it. Even 1 week would not suffice, and now also up to 9 o'clock I won't be able to deal with that. But I was thinking about a few things. And one thing that always sort of struck me is that Krishna, at the end of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the final verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, is basically pointing towards the chanting of the holy name. Before the last verse, it identifies the Bhagavatam as the Amala Purana, the spotless Purana, and glorifies Bhagavatam as the means by which we can become completely liberated. And then it says in the final verse of Bhagavatam, Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranasanam Pranamo Dukkha Samanas Tam Manami Harim Param. I offer my respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Hari, the congregation and chanting of whose holy names destroys all sinful reactions. And the offering of obeisances unto whom relieves all material suffering. I think it could also be translated that by this offering of the chanting of the holy name, we are offering obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is our way of glorifying Him and bowing before Him. So anyway, the conclusion of the Bhagavatam is actually the chanting of Hare Krishna, the Sankirtan Yajna. Of course, it is mentioned several times, like in this verse, and the result of chanting is mentioned. It is also said, Kalota Hari Kirtanat, in this age of Kali, the process is chanting of Hare Krishna, and so on. Many times it is mentioned. But I find it interesting and important that the conclusion of the Bhagavatam is pointing to Sankirtan. That's the last word, and that's important. The last word is important. So that's to be noted. Now, as I began my talk just now, I was speaking about the special mercy that comes into the life of all living beings. And I'm basically in this lecture thinking of three things. And the three things I'm thinking of is obviously the chanting of Hare Krishna as a way to get that mercy of the Lord, or the Srimad Bhagavatam, which prepares us. Srimad Bhagavatam it's a first canto and second canto are like the lotus feet of the Lord, and then we go up to the 10th canto to the face of the Lord. Or all these cantos prepare us for that direct darshan of the Lord, which we get in the 10th canto, which also is there in the holy name. So you can say all these cantos also prepare us to chant Hare Krishna. So that's 2 points. And the third point is life itself. The lessons we learn through life itself. So many things happen, and every living being is learning through life itself. And we are learning through life itself, and then the holy name accompanies us. And as we are learning through life, our whole experiences also changes. So on these three things I wanted to say something. And now I'll begin with life itself. And I read in a book of C.S. Lewis an interesting metaphor which I liked very much. And it was, in that metaphor, he was describing life as a house. And basically the Supreme Lord, He is renovating that house. And He's fixing it. And you know, there are the obvious things. The leaks in the roof where all these sinful desires are coming in, lust, greed, anger, all these things. He's fixing the holes. That's logical. But lately, what's He doing? Lately, he's breaking the whole house. I mean, he's like just breaking the whole house. He's no longer fixing my life, he's just destroying my life. What on earth is he doing? It turns out that the Supreme Lord is not interested in just fixing the house, you know, and making as it was and making it nice. No, he's changing the whole thing. He is not just rebuilding the house, he's making it into a palace. And he plans to live in it himself. It was good. You know, when I read it, I was thinking, wow, impressive. I mean, serious thought, because it's so true. So true. Krishna plans to use us for his purposes. He's not just helping us to live our life better. That's not the idea. He will fix our life and take away a few sinful activities and so on, and chant Hare Krishna and just be happy devotees and live nice life and everything. My life is a very, very nice life. You know, even my cat takes prasada. It's so nice. No, he's upsetting the whole thing. He's pulling the rug from under us, our whole life. He's changing because he wants to use us as his instrument. So that's what I wanted to say about life. Then about the Bhagavatam, which was my second topic. About the Bhagavatam, yes, I began with the end of the Bhagavatam. I began with the final verse of Bhagavatam pointing at Sankirtan. And then the first 3 verses of Bhagavatam are kind of the introduction to Bhagavatam. It describes that Krishna is the origin of everything that we see here in this world. Behind everything is Krishna, and yet he's independent, aloof of it all. It is said that Krishna is the direct cause of the spiritual world and the indirect cause of the material world. What does that mean? It means that the spiritual world he wanted, the material world he didn't want it. We wanted it. And then what could Krishna do? All right, then you have it. If you really want it. You really want it? Yes, yes, yes. All right, take it. Indirect cause. Jamadyasya yadon vyaditaratas chatis vabhikisvara. Directly, indirectly. Then Dharma Brojita Kaidavo Traparamo Nirmansvaram Satam. Krishna points out what is real in spiritual life and what is not. He points out the cheating religion and points out that karma kanda, jnana kanda, keval visarabandha, this path of karma and jnana, of sense enjoyment, or of of speculative thinking and trying to escape from material life for liberation, is simply a cheating process. Only devotional service. Then he classifies devotional service. He's explaining this is the essence of all the Vedas. And then he says that this is the ecstasy. Here one can taste great ecstasy. So in this way he classifies. But not much further. In the first chapter he already says Prayena Peyusasavi Kalvismi Yuge Janaha. Everyone affected by Kali Yuga. Mandusumandamatio Mandavaki Pratut. Everyone fallen, everyone weak, everyone corrupted, nobody is pure. Our Tamam Krishna Maharaj, he wrote an interesting article which I noted in his Hare Krishna at SMU when he was an undergraduate student. And what he wrote was that he wrote about Luther. And what he wrote was that Luther was a Catholic monk who saw corruption. He saw the teachings, but he saw nobody can follow the teachings. Well, that sounds familiar. You know, I mean, he saw there are, sometimes they say about ISKCON, it is the movement where they have the highest teachings and where there is the greatest gap between what is followed and what is taught. Whether it's true, I don't know, but I have heard it. Anyway, so Tamal Krishnamurti was describing that Luther saw corruption in the church, and he rebelled against it and exposed it and distanciated himself from Rome in that way. But then what happened is what we don't hear very often, is that Luther himself had difficulties. And although he was an ordained monk, somehow or other he fell in love. And he gave up his position as a monk, and he married a nun. And then he realized, everybody is corrupted, even I am corrupted. And then he developed his philosophy of grace. That was a very interesting article. I mean, I really appreciated it. To see how that philosophy of grace, you know, where the grace of the Lord is needed because we are through and through corrupt. Of course, that has been taken cheaply, and that's where the old Jesus died for our sins and therefore now we can do any damn thing came from. Bhagavatam is not like that. Bhagavatam points out, yes, there is the mercy of the Lord, and that mercy is brought to us, but now we must take advantage of it. And Bhagavatam says, Shushusho Sadadana Shah Vasudeva Katarichi Shanmahat Sevya Pitra Punya Tirtani Sevya. It says we must serve the Vaishnavas, because by serving the Vaishnavas we develop ruchi, we develop Vasudeva Katarichi, we develop taste for hearing about Krishna, taste for the holy name. Always this taste question. Where to get the taste, how to get the taste, I have no taste, do you have any taste? You know what I mean? Can you see Krishna? Zoom lenses, all the cameras come close. Prabhupada was easy on that one. Yes. Oh, yes. I see him all the time. You can also see. Oh, yes, you showed me. Yes. Then when he told one journalist, then you become like him. That's how he came up. Well, Prabhupada used to say, you have cataract. The eyes are covered. Avritam jnana netrena, covered by lust. Yes, and our knowledge is lost. Naham prakasa sarvasya yogamaya samavita. Krishna covers himself. Anyway, that service to the Vaishnavas is very essential, and that service to the Vaishnavas is emphasized in Bhagavatam. Then we get to see various personalities, who Dhruva Maharaj has material desires but turns to the Supreme Lord anyway. So this is all for us who are chanting Hare Krishna, because we have material desires. It's impossible not to have material desires in this age of Kali. It's impossible. Everyone is full of material desires, no matter how far back we push them, no matter how much externally we deny them. It's not possible. Brahmananda one time told Prabhupada, he said that, you know, in my college there was a professor, and I once wrote an essay, he said. And in the essay, I emphasized that deep down in everyone there is a deep inherent religious tendency. And the professor, he failed me for that essay. He didn't accept it, he failed me. Because he said, no, everything in this world is driven by sex life. Completely Freudian. And then Prabhupada said, your professor was right. Yes. do? What to do? So somehow or other, this chanting of Hare Krishna is the solution, but how can we do it? Serving the Vaishnavas, all right, you know, but how much can I serve? Can I be served, please, for a change? Do I really have to serve all the time? Well, some of us don't like to serve at all. In Dante's Inferno, it says, better a king in hell than a servant in heaven. So in this way, we are considering, no, not easy. Serve the Vaishnavas, all right, I'll serve them a bit, but how long do I have to serve them? You know, and then it's my turn, then they have to serve me also. So hard. So to get this taste, difficult, but somehow or other, going enough taste to go on. Not enough taste to be ecstatic, but enough taste not to stop. Enough taste not to give it up. The first time I left the Hare Krishna movement, I was determined. I've had enough. I'm getting out of here. It was after 10 days. But then I realized, as soon as I was out of the temple, that I could only speak about Krishna. I was so Krishna conscious, it was shocking. I never thought I was. So much Krishna came out of my mouth. Unknowingly, I had become so Krishna conscious that I realized it's too late. And gone. Yes. So, anyway, I have to bring it all together in this short lecture. The Bhagavatam. The other day I mentioned that in the prayers of Prahlad in the Bhagavatam, there is an interesting verse which describes that when you decorate your face, then the face in the mirror is also decorated. In the same way, as you decorate the Supreme Lord, we become decorated ourselves. To me, that is a big verse, you know, not just, you know, like, say, let's highlight that verse in the Bhagavatam. No, I mean, in my life. I mean, I live by that verse because there's so much taste I don't have for chanting Hare Krishna, because really in my heart I don't like to serve. I like to be served, so don't serve the Vaishnavas enough. And then, but somehow or other, whatever offerings we make to Krishna, we find as we are glorifying Krishna, it all comes back to us. We get the benefit. Krishna doesn't need our service, Prahlad is pointing out. He doesn't require. But we are getting the benefit. So this is very nice. So just a few days ago, yesterday actually, we were speaking about pessimism and optimism and realism. I met this devotee who I hadn't seen for a long time, but the first time I met him and I asked him, how are you? He said, super! Yesterday I saw him after a long time and he said, super! Optimist. That was quite clear. Then shortly after that I spoke to someone who's just like getting into problems and problems and problems, and everything was a problem, and even chanting was a problem, and offenses were there and that added to the problem, and they were just like, Kirtan was also a problem because of the Kirtan singers who somehow or other were singing like, you know, I mean, in a mood that was a problem. And in the end, everything was a problem. The prasadam was super good, but couldn't digest it. That was also a problem. It's like everything was a problem. Pessimist. Okay. Realist, you know. Well, yes. Hare Krishna, wow, that's the greatest gift. Yes, sometimes there is a problem, but at the same time it's not the end of the world. Even the biggest problem is not the end of the world. It's not that they're not there. It's not always just super. Sometimes you have a super problem. You're in the soup. What to do? Still, no problem, no matter how great, is so great that it can be an obstacle. Therefore, even a dog eater, I'm pointing at the board, not just to avoid confusion with the board. Even a dog eater can be purified. Can be purified. That is the amazing feature of this process. No problem is so great. In that way, about material life, well, you know, I am not an optimist materially. You know, materially, sometimes it may work for a while. That's the best you get in the material world. You know, sometimes I'm outright like, no hope, material life, it's a hopeless situation. But then, the holy name, complete optimism. It is a fact, and that is not optimism, that is realism, because it's real. This holy name, this Srimad Bhagavatam, it is Krishna. Krishna himself who come into our rotten lives and somehow or other save us. It's Krishna who saves us. That's what it is. So we are very fortunate that we are here. And then we have like our Sacinandana Maharaj, who is like very creative, you know. Maharaj, he first of all has like this ability to absorb everything positive, you know what I'm saying? But all positive things, he just like a sponge. And then he comes up with these interesting ideas like Kirtan Mela. And everybody will agree it was a good idea. So somehow or other, Kirtan Mela took different forms in Germany, in different places, but now Kirtan Mela came here, and each Kirtan Mela had its own flavor. The first one, it was big. There were lots of devotees, lots of singers. B.B. Govinda himself was there, you know, B.B. King, and so on. You know, Goloka Dhama-Germany, you know, it's like, his singing is like a rasgula from the first note. From the first note, it's dripping in ras. It's just dripping in sweetness. What can we say? All that. All these personalities, they came because Sacinandana Maharaj asked them, and how could they say no? And so many others came. It was absolutely amazing. Then the whole thing moved to Mayapur, made sense, as Maharaj explained to us. And now what we have here, it is smaller, more intimate, but it was sweet. And I must say, in front of the deities, you know, I'm spoiled. I grew up in Vrindavan. We always sing in front of the deities, you know. Ayendra sang in front of the deities. Ayendra could have gotten a round-the-world ticket and he would have been world famous, more famous than he's now. Right? But he didn't do that because he sang for the deities, for the pleasure of the deities. And that is why Krishna said, okay, you can stay in Vrindavan. And he gave him Indian citizenship, which practically no one got from Vrindavan. And then he stayed. Krishna must have thought, I like his singing. And then one day Krishna said, yes, now you can come to the spiritual world and sing for me there. So like this is a wonderful movement, a movement of hope. It is one big success story. Everybody is a success, because everyone makes events. Time is up. What can I say? Even the dog eaters are being transformed. There is no doubt. But we must try and help the process. And Bhagavatam will help us. There's no time for any questions. What to do? You can't have everything in one meal. So, and if there are questions, I'm sure that by Sacinandana Maharaj's deep explanation and so on, all has been answered. And if not, chant Hare Krishna.